Well, happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
I'm so glad to see you all here in person on this day of resurrection. Happy Resurrection Day. It's good for my soul to be with you. I hope it is good for your souls as well. Hope. Hope is the word I want you to carry away with you today. Hope is a word that is much needed in the world right now, though maybe no more so than at other times in history. Right? There have been other rocky economies. There have been other wars. And there have been other pandemics. And since the day of Jesus' resurrection, there has also been an unstoppable hope. That's a phrase I just love, an unstoppable hope. What do you think of it? Can you say it with me? An unstoppable hope, right on. Right, I love that idea. It's a phrase that's been sort of noodling around in my mind lately. And you might ask, preach, what's an unstoppable hope? Right, what does an unstoppable hope look like in my life? Well, I'm glad you asked. I don't know exactly what it looks like in your life. But I can tell you what it looks like in mine. Hope looks like all of the preparation that we put into today's service, hoping that you would be here. Hope is an expectation. It looks like all the money Kristen and I spent and saved for our children's education with hope for their future. Hope is a dream. It looks like getting out of bed every morning, even with news of new pandemic numbers, even with news of a new Russian incursion or a shooting in New York City. It's getting up out of bed, and I still say my prayers, and I still go to a hospital to make visits, and I still laugh at lunch with my colleagues. Hope is optimism. And so hope is expectation. And hope is dreams, and hope is optimism. And these hopes are elevated. They're elevated by the very first words we hear from Jesus, very first words at the beginning of the Gospel of John, the very first ones recorded out of the mouth of Jesus. They come to us there in the form of a question, which is, what are you looking for? Got that? What are you looking for? And the answer is expectations and dreams and optimism. These are the tangible and tactical hopes inspired by Jesus and lived into when we follow his teachings and when we replicate his actions. These hopes gain traction. They gain traction when we live our life as Jesus would if he had my life or your life. Right, that's the point of Christianity, incidentally. To live our lives as Jesus would if he had my life or if he had your life or if he had your life. To be so well integrated in the tactics and the patterns of Jesus that they become our way of doing things even when we aren't paying attention to what we're doing. You with me? So what are you looking for? Hope infused with expectation and dreams and optimism that becomes habits in our life. That's what those first disciples who met Jesus there at the beginning of the Gospel of John were looking for. See, things were tough for them. They were living at a tough time in history. Right, under insurmountable odds. Rome was oppressing them, and they were looking for hope. And we know something of insurmountable odds today, don't we? We've been up against it last couple of years, haven't we? In the face of a pandemic that has locked us down and killed millions around the world. But foreign occupation and pandemics, those are big micro things. We also have little things in our individual lives, job difficulties, right? Children going through really painful experiences. And then there's illness and there's anxiety. Sometimes there's financial uncertainty. And these are tough moments. There's tough moments, aren't there? But sometimes there's tough seasons as well. And some may even say, and I've heard it said, that life's just tough. Where expectations and dreams and optimism seem like luxuries that are reserved for other people. So does that mean that hope is unstoppable? Right? Does it mean it is as only viable? Hope is only as viable as the capacity to meet expectations? Or to see dreams come true? Or to feel optimistic about our life? Huh? Well, the Apostle Paul has something to say about that. You may be familiar with him as one of the primary writers of the New Testament. Paul had some tough things going on in his life. He was beaten, turns out a lot, thrown in jail every once in a while. He was even stoned along the way. And yet he was still able to write in his letter to the Romans, suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character produces hope, and hope will not disappoint. Right? The unstoppable hope of Jesus does not disappoint, and here is why. The unstoppable hope that Jesus unleashed upon the world is bigger than the whats we are hoping for. You with me? Right? So that is to say, if my expectation that you would come to church today had been dashed, there would still be hope. Right? If my desire for my children's future went unfulfilled, there would still be hope. If my colleagues were morose and chronically grumpy, if work was a perpetual burden, there would still be hope. And here's why. Because hope is not only tied to the things that are achievable, hope is realized by a person immutable. Right? A person eternal, ever present. A person of resurrection with the name Jesus. And this unstoppable hope is unleashed by the very first words out of the resurrected Jesus' mouth. There in the garden, who are you looking for? Who are you looking for? These words come to us in the form of a question. Just as the very first words out of the mouth of Jesus at the beginning of the Gospel of John come to us as a question. The first question, what are you looking for? That is about action done, things done in the name of Jesus. It is about the what. The second question, who are you looking for, reveals that which enables the what. That which underwrites, or shall I say, undergirds the what, particularly when we are bumping up against insurmountable odds. It is the who that makes the hope unstoppable. So I'll give you an example. You want an example? Okay, that'd be helpful. It's a little dramatic. I was told by the editors it was a little dramatic, but I'm going to do it. It involves, in fact, a double agent, which maybe means it includes all of us. I mean, I sometimes feel like a double agent in my own life. I trust in Jesus, and I worry about the church budget. I preach peace, and occasionally I protest poor drivers. Maybe that makes me a double agent, or maybe it makes me the hypocrite, or maybe it just makes me human. Being human is enough, luckily, to be the kind of double agent I'm talking about today. The agent we meet is Dietrich Bonhoeffer. You may have heard of him. He was a German theologian who taught at Union Theological Seminary. But when Nazism was on the rise in Germany, he left this cushy post as a professor to return to his native land. And when he got back to Germany, he joined the Nazi secret police. And he did so knowing full well he was doing it as a double agent. So he'd go out on missions for the Nazi secret police, only to meet up with the Allies and pass information on to them about Adolf Hitler. And he was also part of a cell of double agents that attempted to assassinate Adolf Hitler in July of 1944. But he couldn't participate because at that point he had already been arrested for helping Jews escape to Switzerland. The smuggling of Jews to safety is the what Bonhoeffer did because of the actions and teachings of Jesus. It is the what Jesus would have done had Jesus had Dietrich Bonhoeffer's life. Bonhoeffer did this work with expectation. He did it with dreams of a better world. And he did that work with optimism. And many, many people were saved, and Bonhoeffer was caught. And he was thrown into Flossenburg prison. And there in that prison, under that duress, his expectations and his dreams and his optimism were dashed. But not the unstoppable hope of the who that is Jesus. Because Bonhoeffer was a double agent of hope. Hope in the what that could be achieved, and hope in the unstoppable who. It was Jesus that gave Bonhoeffer the courage to love the guards who beat him, confined him. It was Jesus that gave him the inspiration and enabled him to write some of the most profound letters of theology while he was there in jail. It was Jesus that inspired him to take someone else's place at the gallows. It is the who of Jesus Christ that undergirds the what. We can do the what because of the unstoppable who. It is the who that does not disappoint, even in the tough times, even when we're in the midst of tough seasons, even if life is just plain old tough. The what shifts and changes over time, but the who remains, because it is the who that knows us. It is the who that created us. It is the who that loves us. It is the who that broke the confines and the limitations of death, who rejected human rejection to be with us, present and eternal, immutable, no matter what. If you don't know Jesus Christ, I want to invite you to get better acquainted. If you're uncertain at all about this person, Jesus, I can assure you that he is both the safest and most powerful who you will ever meet. He's trustworthy beyond measure. He's full of love because he is God, and God is love, and love is the unstoppable hope. It is love, the unstoppable hope of love, and love alone, that is going to save this world. And you and I, we were made to be double agents of hope in both the what we do and in the who we follow. And the world is desperate for that kind of love. This is the hope of the resurrection. This is the hope of the world. This is the hope that enables us to say today, happy day of resurrection. Happy Easter.